That?
No, 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 no.
I said dynamic.
No, 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 no.
Hereby,
No, 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 no.
hereby
How?
as elected
How?
as
How?
governor of Adamawa State.
How?
Thank you very much.
How?
Today, Adamawa stands tall on the threshold of history. My dear Adamawa State citizens and residents, I am overwhelmed and humbled by your show of love and confidence in electing me to serve as your governor as from May 29 this year and for the next 4 years. For this, I say a very big thank you.
Waiting for the resumption of the coalition, the REC this morning took up a tax he is not constitutionally empowered to do by making an illegal announcement of the outcome of the election without result. This action is no doubt prerogative, but in this situation, I appeal for calm, as always.
Well, those were excerpts from some of the controversies from Adamawa State which characterized the weekend. Hello viewers, this is Daily Politics and I'm your host, Hamza Idris. Still on Adamawa State, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has vowed to punish officials of the commission who boycotted official protocol to announce the results of the Adamawa rand poll. The INEC National Commissioner on Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, disclosed this while speaking to journalists in Birnin Kebbi. Take a look.
So he had no right whatsoever to go and make a declaration and also make a return when there have been results that have been warehoused and there have also been supplementary results that were ongoing. A national commissioner cannot be treated as if he or she is a common criminal. A former vice chancellor of Usman Danfodio University, a senior citizen, was stripped naked and dragged. This commission will not allow that to stand.
And the People's Democratic Party, in its own response, is calling for the arrest and prosecution of the resident electoral commissioner of Adamawa State. Spokesperson of the party stated this in Abuja on Saturday.
The purported declaration of the defeated candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Aisha Binani, as winner of the Adamawa State governorship election. The PDP also demands for the immediate arrest and prosecution of the Adamawa State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Malam Hudu Yunus Ari, for making such illegal declaration in criminal usurpation of the duties and powers of the returning officer, Professor Mohammed Mele, while collation was ongoing. It is even more absurd that the Adamawa State REC did not only usurp the powers of the returning officer, but attempted to declare a winner without figures, in reckless violation of the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act 2022, INEC guidelines, as well as the sensibility of the people of Adamawa State.
And on the program tonight, we are joined by Kule Adeni, a public affairs analyst, to share his perspectives on the issues, among others. We are also joined by Paul James, the program manager elections at Yaga Africa. He joins us virtually. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away. Welcome back. Kule, what is your take on the drama? You've seen about 4 clips, you know, the INEC. Let's start with him. Hudu announcing the results. Of course, the whole world has condemned that, but where do you think he got that confidence to do what he did?
honestly, I am still finding answers to that question because, like you rightly pointed out, for someone to have carried out such treacherous act, for someone to have carried out that brazen act in broad daylight, I mean, this is not even happen at night. You know, we say election results are declared in ungodly hours of the night. But this this happened in the
9 a.m.
I mean, 9 a.m. broad daylight, where like you said, the whole world was awake. Not just Nigerians were watching, even the international community was watching. And to see that incident unfold, you know, it has left more questions than answers on the minds of a lot of Nigerians as to what really happened, what transpired, what was the state of mind. Because we need to start from there. What could have prompted someone who should be knowledgeable, who should know what the provisions of the law states when it comes to how elections are conducted and how the process go, you know, the entire process that makes up an election in itself. And for you to make a mockery of that
is really painful. I can see the shock in you.
I mean, it's not just painful, it's disappointing to say the least.
All right, Paul, Yaga Africa issued a statement condemning what happened in Adamawa. Can you shed more light on that?
Yeah, so what happened for us was very appalling. It has not happened in the history of elections in Nigeria as much as we know. This was a process that we thought started very well, given the reports that we got from the observers. Although INEC deployed late across several polling units that we visited. This is also elections is happening in just a few locations, 69 locations. And to a large extent, the election day process went well. Beavers were deployed in all locations. In fact, just one location in Yola South that they deployed 2 beavers. And then the process at the polling unit did occur very well. It was just at the collation that we started hearing of problems. On the evening of the election, I received a call from our coordinator in Adamawa who mentioned to me that they had moved the collation to, they suspected foul because they had moved the collation to Dugri instead of the INEC office in Adamawa. And so at some point, the national commissioners that were deployed to Adamawa stepped in and asked that the collation be returned to the original place that INEC had scheduled for the collation. So they went to the location. By then, it was already time for call for prayers, and decided that the collation be suspended and they resumed at 9. So when they came at 9 p.m., they were only able to collate for 10 local governments. We got the results for those 10 local governments, and so they asked that the collation be suspended and they continued the next morning at 11. This is to the agreement of everybody. But then what was sad was the morning of the Sunday, when they were supposed to resume collation at 9 a.m. precisely, the coordinator called again that the Adamawa State Reg was about to do was something that was unheard of, that he was just about to make a declaration. And it is sad that this declaration was made in cahoot with either the police commissioner or a senior ranking officer of the police that I'm sure you may have seen in the clip. They just called for that meeting in the morning with a piece of paper in their hands and just announced that by the power vested on the reg, he had decided that the process had been concluded, and so he had paid a return.
Power?
So
where did he got that power? Of course, I read and I realized that, of course, INEC chairman has the powers to assign any other person, right, to pretend an event like the one in Adamawa.
So let us be clear, yes, by those powers that INEC has,
a professor from University
by the powers that INEC has, Section 64 and 65 of the Electoral Act had also vested the power to make a return on the returning officer. Similarly, also Part 3 of the INEC guidelines on the conduct of the election also stipulates who should make a return. A returning officer that is appointed by INEC and not the INEC, the resident electoral commissioner. So we thought it was a violation of that. So if you see from the statement we had issued yesterday, we called for the arrest of the INEC commissioner And then, of course, not just the arrest of the commissioner, we called that INEC should go back and review the process. And we thought that was an immediate response from INEC that we were happy with. INEC decided as of yesterday to suspend the process and ask that the officials should come to Abuja for a review. But what CSOs were calling at this point is that INEC shouldn't take long in reviewing this process, that they should be swift in the review because already tensions are high in the state, so that the relative peace that has been enjoyed in the state, nothing untoward will happen.
Okay. Kule, you heard Paul there. They called for the arrest of Hudu Ari, but there was a statement this earlier in the afternoon today by the INEC secretary here in Abuja, warning Hudu not to go close to INEC office in Yola. I don't know what happens. Is it that he's an invisible person that he cannot be arrested?
Well, like you said, in the first place, there was a collusion. He colluded with some people to carry out the action.
But who are these people?
Now, that would be another important question, because like Paul has rightly said, if you look at the provisions of the Constitution, of course, we know that there was a violation of the Electoral Act.
That's section 64
and 65.
Yeah.
And so, for him to have actually even sat down in that room, or that office, wherever he sat down, and he had the protection of security around him.
Yes.
To have carried out such
operatives, there are police operatives, civil defense, and
yes,
all
because that's an act of betrayal, not just on the people of Adamawa State. It's an act of betrayal on the people on the people that have empowered you to act and said, look, we are putting you in charge to oversee this entire process, and then you go and disregard what their own guidelines are, then there is a problem somewhere. So the fact that, because you ask yourself, is he invisible? Obviously, he was not invisible. And from the point where he entered, he sat at that office, made that declaration, which was not within his powers to have made, and within the presence of security agents, who should have even apprehended him.
Yeah.
Because we saw videos of some people being lynched, whether he was even one of them that was being lynched. In the first place, you shouldn't have even given room for that, because and that is our problem. The question is, the people that we appoint to carry out certain sensitive assignments,
yes.
And do we just put them there as figureheads, or do they have understanding of what is required of them and what are the expectations? For instance, the rec that made that declaration, that fraudulent declaration, to start with,
his pedigree,
and the caliber of person that he should be, should he have made such, the security agencies, if someone is found wanting of violating your laid down principles as guidelines, because INEC says that yes, it is unfortunate that their staff was attacked, but there was a premise that led to the staff
being attacked,
coming under such attack.
Yeah.
So what should you have done to prevent any of that happening?
Okay.
As you send your people out for assignments, it is expected that you are sending them out, arming them with all that they need to do to ensure that there is a smooth process.
Right.
And that if there is any violation of the process, these are some, unfortunately, we don't say people should take laws into their hands. But you give room for this incident when you see people brazenly violating what the law says, doing otherwise, and you don't call them to order, or the relevant authorities who are supposed to take action in this instance of what we have seen in Adamawa fail to take action and allow these individuals go scot-free.
Yeah. All right. Paul, people are still at a loss as to how security operatives, including police, DSS, and even civil defense, stood by Hudu while he was making that declaration. Meaning there must be powerful forces behind what happened. Where is that powerful force?
Well, it's not for me to know where the powerful force is, but what I know as CSOs is that we had read some signs before the election about some of the sort of activities we see around the commission, but most importantly also what we thought could also be parameters for possible manipulation of the process. Before the elections, Yaga had released 3 iteration reports about indicators that we think politicians or other MS are using to manipulate the process. One is what we call INEC capture. We have voter suppression. We have history of election violence.
Yeah.
And one thing I could tell you is, with all of these indicators that we had for the 3 reports that we released, Adamawa featured prominently as one of the states that is high risk for election manipulation. So it was not surprising that this happened. But then what is even more annoying or surprising at this point is the fact that it happened also this happened in cahoot security operatives. I think it's just to dig further and so we could understand where exactly those orders coming from. I mean, we don't even need to go too far. The evidence is there already. These persons were captured on clip. Yeah. And these are also people that are trained before the election, one on election security, on election laws. So ignorance of law at this point will not even be an excuse. It's to pick them up, just as INEC had now suspended the INEC direct in Adamawa. We hope it doesn't just stop suspending them. They should pick up both direct and then the people that supported in carrying out this criminal act and ensure that they are prosecuted.
It appears they are moving freely as we speak, because the statement issued in the afternoon showed that INEC, just warned who do not to go close to its office in Adamawa. And of course, I asked 1 or 2 questions. Someone told me, though not yet verified, that even though they asked him to come to Abuja, he refused to come, and he's still there trying to ensure that what he announced is actually what should be in the eye of the law.
Yeah, even before now, I mean, we had heard that there was a call even by INEC before the nonsense would have happened by the REC. There was a call for INEC to try to salvage the situation that the REC refused to answer the call. And then, yes, we also heard the report that he was directed to also report at the Abuja office, but refused to honor the investigation, the call. So I guess it's on the strength of that INEC had decided to issue the directive that it should stay away from the commission, because we cannot be taking laws into our own hands. But again, what this reveals further is the challenge we have in the sort of administrative structure that we have within INEC. It has to do with the appointments in INEC. What we need to have beyond